thanks for joining me. Today we are going to be making an artist trading card, this fun little shimmery one here. Artist trading cards are 2.5 by 3.5 inch cards. That's a standard always. It's a lot more fun than looking at a giant sheet of paper and not knowing what to do with it. So if you mess up on an artist trading card, you throw it away. It's inexpensive, not a big deal, which is a lot of where I find my pressure is on me. I don't want to look at a big sheet of paper and think I'm going to mess up. Then I've invested money in this nice paper. What am I going to do now? So that's why I love artist trading cards. They encourage me to work on my art without pressure. So I hope you'll find that as well. And once you're finished with your card, there are people all over the world who are trading them. So there are forums you can go on to. If you'd like to know some of those, let me know in the comment box and I can point you in the right direction. And once you're finished, you can swap with people and see what they're working on, and it's just a lot of fun. Okay, so we're going to go over the supplies that we're going to need for our trading card. I started with a big sheet of watercolor paper. You don't need to use watercolor paper. You can use Bristol paper or really anything. I just like this is 140 pound, so it's nice and thick. Artist trading cards should be rather thick, otherwise you need to mount them onto something that's thicker. So if you start out with something that's thick, you don't have to worry about that. So this is just Strathmore cold press. Hot press is actually smoother. You want something that's smoother. This is a smoother cold press because you want to protect the tips of your pens. So you don't want anything. I have some cold press watercolor paper that's really textured, which is fun to watercolor on, but it's not nice for your pens to skip over that roughness. So find something that's fairly smooth, fairly thick. You don't need a giant one like this. You can get the smaller pads. But so you're going to take your big pad and, your big piece of paper, and you are going to cut it apart with a paper cutter. So just cut it apart. So you end up with this size, and I got this whole pile of cards out of one sheet of paper, plus some. I've already done art on some of them. So really this goes a long ways. You can also buy artist trading cards pre-cut, but I think you can buy 10 for like $5, and once you figure out how much the paper costs, it's easy to see that this is the much more economical way to go. So, nice heavy paper, and if you don't have a paper cutter, scissors are fine too, so don't get hung up on supplies. You will also, well, you don't need, but if you want to do our shimmery card, you'll need a set of these. My lid broke off, which is kind of nice because it's out of my way. I don't even know what these are called. I don't know what brand they are. I picked them up really cheap at probably Michael's. I've seen bigger palettes with lots more colors. This works just fine for me. So if you can find these shimmery paints, you want to pick some of those up. Or you can also use the sparkly jelly roll pens. You'll get about the same effect. So if you already have those, great. If yours aren't sparkly, whatever you have. Jelly roll pens would work great. Regular pens, colored pencils, whatever you have. So that's what you'll need. Also, you will need, well, you don't need, but I used a gold jelly roll pen to do my lines. You'll see that at the end when I show you. So I don't know, maybe you'd like black lines, in which case just a Pitt pen or a micron pen is fine. So that's up to you. There's also, you could use a paint pen. These tend to be a little more expensive, and I don't like to waste the ink, and the tip is a little more fragile. So I found that jelly roll works just great. So you'll need one of those. You'll need a small brush. You'll need a pencil to draw our lines and an eraser, because we all mess up. And you'll also need this dimensional fabric paint. in gold or whatever color you'd like for our little dots on our card. I don't know if you can see that. I'll have a close-up later that you'll be able to see that a little better. So pick up some of this fabric paint, and it's fairly inexpensive. Or you could just dot with the Jelly Roll pen. It's up to you. So I'm just kind of telling you what I did to make this card. Okay, so gather your supplies and we will get started. Okay, I'm going to show you some of the basic lines that we're going to be doing, just so you can see them with the darker pen and they'll stand out a little better. And so you can kind of see the dots here now that we're a little closer up. So that's what we're going for. Anyway, so this is how we're going to get started. It's very easy, so don't get worried. We're just going to pick a spot on the paper anywhere, and we're going to make a loop. But then we're going to keep going and keep looping all the way to the edge of the card, wherever that may be. Then we're going to go below that loop, and we're just going to follow it around and end at the edge of the card. And you can decide how many you want to go out. I recommend at least 3 because we're going to be picking 3 colors, but you can do as many as you'd like. So this is all we do. We just make circles and follow it out. Okay, I think I'll stop there and then maybe turn it around and we'll do another loop here. Loop around and then follow it out to the edge. Loop around, follow out to the edge. Okay? Okay, we're going to use our pencil now to do the same shapes that we did on our pen. Start at any point with your swirl and just swirl out, making sure you do at least 3 rows because we're going to be picking 3 different colors. So maybe 3 swirls or 4 swirls. Just pick various spots on your paper and swirl out. If you come to a previous swirl, just jump over it and start on the next side. So, or the jump over, so it looks like it's got some dimension. It looks like it's going behind. So now once we're done with our swirls, we are left with some negative space. So we're going to fill that in with what looks like swirls behind. So just kind of some curved lines, making it look like there are some swirls in the background. So we'll fill those in with color as well. So once you're all finished with your pencil swirls, you're going to wet your paints, and then I like to do a little paint test and use my colors to make sure I like the ones that I'm choosing. There are a couple different variations on the colors, and they don't quite look like they look in the pan, so it's good to do a little watercolor test to see what you're working with. So I've chosen to go with purple first, and you can just pick any little swirl line to start with. It really doesn't matter. But once you lay down the next line, you're going to want to jump over 2 because we're doing 3 colors. So you want to leave those 2 colors in the middle for those 2 lines in the middle for the other colors. So I'm just going around and jumping over 2 and filling in kind of randomly. I just pick which one I want to start with and then kind of go out from there. So just fill in your first color, and it takes a little while. You could also be using gel pens, which might be a little faster. If that's what you have on hand, that's perfectly fine. Or any other kind of felt tip pen, that would work too. So just go ahead and fill it in and move on to the next color. Okay, now it's time to move on to our next color, green. And as you're putting the green on, it kind of can get confusing sometimes. You lose track of where it's supposed to go. The purple was easy. It just went wherever you felt like it in each swirl. But an easy way to remember is the green is going to go on the outside of the purple curve. So anywhere you see a purple curve, it's going to go on the top of it. So just work your way around your card, looking for those tops of purple curves, and you can lay down your green. Then when it's time to pick your next color, it's good to have sample paper so you can decide what's going to look best. So here I am trying to decide if I want to go with the lighter orange or the darker orange. So I'll lay down both, and I'll lay them down next to my sample of my purple and green, and ultimately I decided to go with the lighter orange because I kind of wanted to stay with the pastel colors. So we laid down the orange. So now it's time to pick up your jelly roll pen and fill in those lines. Wherever you had a pencil line, you're going to go over with the jelly roll or paint pen or whatever you choose to use. So just work your way around your card, filling in those gold lines. And also being careful not to stick your hand in it. These darn jelly roll pens can be so juicy. I'm always sticking my hand in them and making a smudgy mess. So you just need to be really careful that you don't smudge this ink as you're working your way around the card. So just be aware of that. And I also fill in my little white dots with the gold pen. So we'll go over that with the fabric paint, but it's good to have that nice gold background to work with. So just continue to fill in your lines with your gold pen, and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so it's dry, and we're going to use this fabric paint in gold. I don't even know if they make these anymore. I think this might be like 15 years old, but it still works. And I know they make other brands, but I don't know about this one. So I just clean off the tip and then make sure that it's working. Yep. Okay, so again, you don't want to smear this. And I kind of have two weak colors together, the green and the orange. They don't contrast very much, so I'm going to choose that line to do my dots on. So first I put a bigger dot in the middle, and then I'm going to do little dots all along that line between the orange and the green. Now these are tiny dots, but actually and they're nice and raised, and I like that actually, but they are going to kind of melt down as they dry, so that's kind of a bummer, but whatever, it still looks nice. So you just barely tap it, and I don't even think I'm squeezing it, I'm just kind of holding it and it comes out. So bigger dot here, and then my orange green line. So this just adds some dimension and some visual interest and kind of strengthens that weak color change there. actually, this is a little, I don't know if it would actually go here, but you pretend there's a green under there, so, whoa! That was close. Okay, I think I got all of them. So, we'll let that dry and see how it turns out. Well, I hope you had fun making your artist trading card. Now it's time to sign the back and jump on a forum and find someone to trade with, or I'd be happy to trade with you myself. So next video, we are going to learn how to make this fun, bright one, kind of in the same style. So if you're interested in learning how to make this fun one, please subscribe to my channel and check back, and we will make that one next. In the meantime, have fun.